wish it wouldn't have transpired that way, and it did. And my nephew, he made a decision that he should not have made. And that's just something we have to live with. Him as a person, he was a son, a brother, a grandson, a nephew, a little brother to someone, my son, Jeffrey. You know, a lot of times y'all hear about how good an individual was, but their actions don't depict who they were. But in this case, that's really who he was. That day, you know, just a bad decision. And now we have to live with that forever. That's something we have to accept. We're going to accept. Again, we thank the Milwaukee Police Department, everyone who came out. You know, we've seen buying them out here, you know, like the community really came out. We didn't want anyone to riot, get to, you know, going off about anything. We just really wanted to know and keep things settled because...
Man, I love this family because they are taking accountability for the actions of their family member. And one of the things that she said that is so true is the fact that sometimes the actions don't necessarily depict the person who they were. Now, I know sometimes it's easy for us to rip on people, especially when they put up the graduation photo and the photos that look at them all happy and joyous after they did some heinous act. And a lot of us say they try to put up the best photos and that has nothing to do with the person that they were. But one of the things I like the fact that she said is like, hey, look, like his actions did not depict the person he was. And we got to be realistic. Like, I have a lot of family members that are good family members around me and at the parties and, you know, but who they are outside doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't good to me or I don't love them as a family member. So she's basically acknowledging the fact that they loved him as a family member. They loved him as a nephew or whatever he was to people, but she didn't negate the fact that he was out there doing behavior that he shouldn't be doing. And that's what we need to see. And so what we're going to see next is we're going to see the part where we're going to see right now the part where the attorney kind of gives a depiction of what they witnessed in the video and also more accountability on behalf of the family. And this is, I just love it. If we saw more of this, I guarantee you we wouldn't see all the nonsense that we see in our community. Let's watch the rest of it.
The off-duty officer followed right behind. Elijah did get out his vehicle, as did the off-duty officer. Elijah did kind of point to the front end of the off-duty officer's vehicle, kind of alleging that you hit me and caused some type of property damage to the vehicle. And what we see next on the video is that Elijah did have a firearm. He does pull it out, and the video in which myself and his mother Pam did watch today is he does slap the off-duty officer with the firearm. After which the video does depict Elijah pointing the firearm at the off-duty officer, and the off-duty officer did respond what we believe in accordance with his training.
Kudos to this attorney. Kudos to this family. My heart breaks for this family because it is not the fault of the family of the actions of that kid, Elijah. And I don't know what he did, obviously, but he did something that cost him his life. Sounds like he pointed a gun and hit an off-duty officer. But kudos to this attorney, because that is a hard thing to do, is to stand up there and tell the truth. And the reason I say it's hard is not because it's hard to tell the truth, but with all the political pressures going on, with as easy as it is to get money because of lawsuits, even though you know you're in the wrong, you still stood up there and you told the truth, even as difficult as it was. And kudos to that family, as hard as it was to sit up there and say that my son or my nephew made a wrong decision, they still did it and it was the right thing to do. So kudos to that family. I can't underestimate that or underscore how thankful and grateful I am for what they did, even in the midst of their own tragedy. Because if it was Benjamin Crump would have been up there and be like, well, I don't know if he had a firearm in his hand. We saw the video, but we can't necessarily confirm at this time that it was a firearm. Or he would have said something like, oh, well, you know, this off-duty officer, he threatened my client, and that's why my client responded and pistol whipped the officer and he raised a gun up. He would have been making excuse after excuse after excuse. Why? Because he was trying to get paid. He wanted a payday. But so this attorney right here, he absolutely deserves a raise. And this family right here, they are setting the example of what true accountability looks like. So you know what? I tip my hat off to them. I tip my hat off to them Because if we have more of this, then we won't be seeing as much of the polarization. And this is where true unity stands. This is where true unity starts. The fact that this family was able to thank the Milwaukee Police Department because it sounds like they supported them. Nobody, like I said, death sucks. Even when it comes when your nephew or somebody in your family does something ignorant, it still doesn't mean it's easy to get over. It's easy to cope with. No, it's not easy, but it makes it easier to move forward as together as a community and as one unit. When you start holding ourselves accountable, it makes it easier for people to come together and start figuring out how can we prevent these things from occurring in the future. So my hat's off to this family. My hat's off to that attorney. I don't know who that attorney is, but thank you. And for all of you guys that watch this episode of the show, thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. If you guys like these episodes, if you guys like my show, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and most importantly, turn on those notification bells, because when you guys support this channel, it supports me and it allows me to continue to bring you guys the latest and greatest content. So not only can we learn together as a community and as a profession, but so that way we can move forward in unity together as a community. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care and God bless.